Good morning, pilgrims. It is day 2 on the Camino Frances in reverse. Yes, leaving O Pedroso or O Pino after meeting 2 subscribers. Yes, what are the odds, right? Now, woke up this morning, as usual at 6:30, but I just laid there in bed because I'm not gonna walk on a short 20-kilometer day until the sun comes out or until there's enough light for me to be able to film. So I thought people were gonna start leaving super early, but in my room at least they didn't. Actually, I left my room at 7:30 and they were still getting ready. Went to the cafe right across the street from the albergue, and it was starting to fill up fast. I only had a café con leche because I wanted some eggs and they didn't have them. But today there's gonna be so much support, so many bars, so many bars that I can break up my breakfast throughout the morning. Clear Camino right now. There's nobody up ahead, at least for a little bit. Let's just enjoy this. There's no rain. Yesterday was supposed to be the rainy day. It's gonna be cloudy and the sun is gonna come out. Now, when it comes to the sun, when you do the Camino Frances, usually you have it behind you, so you get your sunburn in your neck. But in this case, it's gonna be head on. So I'm gonna have to bring out my cap with my face mask and my glasses and even the umbrella at some points. Because if I don't do that, by the time I make it to St. John Pied de Port or Pamplona or, or some port, I will be completely baked. All right. Good morning. Let's do this. Get a few words in before the crowds approach. Have already seen quite a few pilgrims. I know that from Arzua to O Pedroso you can break up the stage. Some people, instead of doing the 14 kilometers from Melides to Arzua, they continue walking on, for example, as I did on my first Camino, and I made it to Salceda, so that then today, instead of being a 20-kilometer day, it could be like a 30 or so. When you're getting towards the end, your body is accustomed to walking, especially if you started in St. John Pied de Port or before, and doing 30 kilometers is not a big deal, and you just want to get there, of course. Now, on a positive note of doing this thing in reverse, because you guys know I always focus on the positive and not the negative. Now, the distance on the markers is the distance that I have walked from Santiago, not what I have left. So if I want to know how much have I walked after 13 days, just look at a marker. Oh, I have walked 300 kilometers or 400 or whatever. So that's good. What else? Yesterday, just before getting to Pedroso, I didn't get lost, but I did go off on a tangent, and I realized that about 50 meters or so I caught it just in time. I was like, this doesn't look familiar. So I pulled out my phone and I was right. So I had to keep an eye out. I can't, let my guard down. Even though when I see all the pilgrims, you can clearly see the path and the markers. They have the yellow arrow pointing to Santiago and the blue one pointing the other way. There's one and there's another one back there. All right. I just want to know what happened. It wasn't supposed to rain today. No, sir. Come here. And now I have a dog following me too. The rain got intense there for a little bit. I thought, what's going on, morning showers maybe. But, I was able to take out the poncho really quickly. What are you doing? Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Ven acá. Ven. Ven. No? Oh no, it's starting again. Oh, very nice. Now I gotta put it on. At least it's quick. And I got the umbrella. Double protection, of course. How's the audio now? And my camera's getting wet. I cannot believe that I got rain done today, but that's the Camino for you. I found a refuge at an open bar. The bars now in the morning, there's nobody in them. Sometimes you see the locals, but that's about to change as all the pilgrims start coming this way. The dog stopped following me. By the time I made it to that donkey, because there were other dogs around in the properties that were barking at him, and he just stayed behind. He's probably doing this section back and forward, so I probably brought him back home. I went in the bar and there was nobody in there. This section here in the morning, it feels like the Camino has just been abandoned. You see a pilgrim now and then, but they're not that many. That's about to change in an hour or so. I was talking to the owner of the bar, because I had lunch there before, and we were just talking about how many people were here during Semana Santa, that it was crazy. He's saying that this week is kind of like transitional. There's a dip, and then it's gonna pick up once again. And I kind of noticed it when I got to Santiago. There weren't as many people as I expected. Now, what did I have for my breakfast? Because all I had was a café con leche in Pedroso. Well, when I went in, I saw a sign saying the best tortilla on the Camino. And you know, on the Camino or the Via de la Plata, I couldn't find eggs, man. I think I had eggs like twice in the entire trip. So I was craving it, and I asked him, do you have a tortilla española? He told me, I can make it. It's gonna take about 10 minutes. So I said, you know what? Instead of the tortilla española, how about you just make me 2 fried eggs? And he did, which is nice. I had an orange juice, and we just talked there for a little bit. It was a nice break. And now that I'm out, the sun is coming out through the clouds, and I don't think it's gonna rain anymore. I'm done with the rains, man. I got so much rain on the Via de la Plata that, yeah, it's not fun. Car. Speaking of the bubble that's about to hit me, I've had experience already with this twice. The first one was when I drove the Camino in reverse. I rented a car in Santiago and I drove to Saint Jean-Pied-de-Port and then returned it in Pamplona. Why was I doing this? Well, I just brought the same camera that I have here, but with a stereoscopic lens, and I filmed all the highlights of the Camino just so that I could see it on the Meta Quest in 3D with ambisonic audio. I'll put the link in the description and up here so you can see it if you have one of those devices. And I just did the entire Camino by car, and it was quite the experience as well, even though you had to stick to the road for the most part. The second time that I had an experience with a bubble was when I did the Camino Frances on an e-bike in 2022, yes, in October. I was doing 3 walking stages in one. So I will leave that bubble of pilgrims that are just living together with me. Then the Camino will be empty. Then I will catch up with the bubble from the following stage a little bit further down, and then finally I would arrive with the third bubble to my destinations. But the in-betweens were similar to this. Oh man. Oh yes, the sun has come out. I made it to Salceda, and this is where I'm coming face to face with the bubble, and two observations so far. The wildlife, or the farm life, is out and about early in the morning, because since there's no people walking by, you know, I had the dog, I've seen quite a few cats, ducks, you name it. I guess they know the rhythms of the Camino. They know that in the morning they could be roaming around here by themselves, and then they have to hide away. All right, here comes the pilgrims. Note to self, don't try to go to a bar after 11 in the morning. No sir, not in this section. Mid-morning coffee break at this iconic, or used to be iconic bar that was covered with beer bottles. I don't know if you remember seeing it. It's this one. I remember in 2021, right after the pandemic, when Spain opened and I left the Appalachian Trail and I came here and I walked from Ponferrada to Santiago with my two friends from work. I found a walking stick here made out of wood, and I carved my name on it. I walked to Santiago with it, and then I took a bus to León and I walked the Camino San Salvador to Oviedo. And then the Primitivo, which connects with this Camino in Melide, passed by here, and I left the walking stick where I found it. So the stick did a whole loop around 3 Caminos, and I always, you know, in my imagination, thought that someone else was gonna find it and maybe take it to Santiago. As you can see, there's like 40 kids here, and only one coffee machine. So there goes today's story. If you've been watching my videos for any period of time, you know that I love to approach the towns where I'm gonna be staying and get a bird's eye view from a hilltop. And Arzua has it. There it is. From this approach, you get to see it up top of the hill. When you're doing the Camino to Santiago, you won't see it until the last minute, until you're in it, because you're climbing from the other side of that mountain. And look at the sky, puffy clouds, blue skies. There's Arzua. Let's have lunch over there, settled in. I don't have to do laundry because I have now 4 sets of clothes, and I have to do laundry every 2 or 3 days. Who knows? I mean, it looks like it's not gonna rain and we got clear skies and wind. Maybe I'll do it. You see that bar back there, that unassuming bar just before Arzua, where I decided to stop and have lunch. This is not just any bar, it means a lot to me because I know the owners, Jose and Angela. I've been seeing them since 2021, and every time I make a point to stop and talk to them, they're the ones that told me that they worked the entire season without any time off. And we just had a great conversation there. It's the end of the day, so there's no pilgrims around. They're relaxed, they let their guard down, and then we just talked. And I went for the soup, the vegetable soup. I also had the croquetas. Croquetas! That's an inside joke from the Villa de la Plata, by the way. With a salad and also a beer. And I got, what was it? Torta de Santiago, of course, for the second time on the trip. And he gave me, on the house, a chupito, orujo, the coffee one. I like that one so much. And we said goodbye. I am gonna see them again when I pass through in the years ahead. Wow, that drink really did something, because this curve here on the way down, I'm gonna feel it. Probably not as much as the climb. I mean, having all this to myself, this is just crazy. So here we are at the Albergue La Via Láctea, and I'm facing the age-old question: which bunk bed should I choose? Because I'm the first one here, even though I ride at 3. So here we got options, of course. You don't want the top bunk beds unless you're into that. If that's your case, thank you so much for leaving a bottom bunk bed for the rest of us. We have the emergency light. This thing is gonna be on tonight, so any bed that's facing it is gonna be a bad bed for you. So I would say this one, which is away from all the other ones. You got extra space. Or maybe that one in the corner will be my second best choice, because I could create the curtain wall and get some privacy. But in this case, I need an outlet. And this room has 4 of them, but they're here by the main door. And if they're by the main door, these beds are no use to me, because I need to charge all my electronics, because I've been going crazy and crazy with all my footage. I think this one is gonna be the best bed. All right, let's settle in. You know, I was thinking about not doing laundry, but then I started thinking, don't get soft. Yeah, don't do it. Remember when I said at the beginning of the trip, then the different stages, that by the time I made it to Nirvana is when I let my guard down and I make stupid mistakes or newbie mistakes. Well, this could be one. Look at this. We got the lavaderos over here. These are by hand. I'm gonna use the machine. I like this place. There's nobody here, I'm just here by myself. What's going on? Am I too early? Or what? Here we go, 4 and 4, so that's 8. Yeah, that's how it goes. It is 5:20 in the afternoon. My clothes are dry. Decided to go out for a walk and explore the town. Just realized that it is Sunday and everything is closed. Well, everything except for the places to eat, which is what's important. I don't see any pilgrims. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's true. After Semana Santa, there's a dip in the numbers. And I just wanted to come here to this statue over here, Peregrino Arzúa. Over there is where Camino del Norte joins the Frances right here. And I remember in 2018 taking a selfie with Noé right here. I thought about Noé a lot today because of all the places that I walked past, the bars where I had a few drinks and we had a great time. So yeah, I guess it's just, you know, one of those afternoons where I just walk around and take pictures, which is not a bad thing to do after all. Now, you're not gonna believe what I just ran into. Check this out and tell me if you recognize it. Yep, this is a Shikoku Henro marker that I talk so much about in other videos, including when I was in Japan doing the Shikoku Henro. Now I've done it. Now I can actually cross this off my list, and I can't believe that I'm touching one here in person. I was waiting for the one in Sarria, but I guess they're spreading the word. There's one here now, there's one in Palas del Rey, there's one in Sarria. I saw one in, where was it? Molina Seca, just before Ponferrada. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for them. Nice surprise, yes. Good trip, highly recommended. Check out my vlog series. I am standing here next to this famous statue from Arzúa after having beer and sparkling water at the bar right next to the church. I was talking to the bartender and I picked it up right away. Another Cuban, and he's only been here for 2 months. He told me there's a large Cuban community here in this town, which I find surprisingly, but that's how it goes. There's another pilgrim in my room, so I'm not alone. And charging all my electronics in my little corner there with a little protection from praying eyes. What else? I got the beer and the water because I wanted to break a 100 euro bill. I'm down to my last 200, and as you guys know, this is like a cash economy and small bills are king. So if you're gonna bring cash, trying to get 20 euro bills, and if you get them here from the ATM, do the same. It's already 8 o'clock. I see all the old timers out and about. I'm gonna look for a place to just have a salad, maybe a soup. And it is time to thank the troll angel of the day, and today we have a special one, Susana G, channel member. Trail Angel, you name it. Thank you so much, Susan. We almost did the Via de la Plata together, just that I did it a year ahead of time. Hope to see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock on a rainy day. But that's how it goes. See you then.